Hi, I'm Jen, and I'm on HOC, which is the group that basically welcomes you for your awesome orientation week, and that's what it is. It is awesome. And this is my third year in LBR, which is, I know, I don't look like I'm that old. I know I could pass for 16, but surprisingly, it is my third year. I'm in business, and I'm majoring in the ever so exciting field of accounting. So that's just a little bit about me, but this video is for you. And I just want to first and foremost welcome you. You picked the best house that you possibly could have. We are like one big family, and you're going to hear people say that a lot, that we are like a big family, but you'll come to realize how true that really is. So yeah, I am here to talk to you about your roommates and give you some ideas on what it's going to be like, and some tips for living with another person, and some ideas for things that you should probably discuss with your roommate. So first of all, you probably know by now who your roommate is, and I would highly recommend Facebooking them. You don't necessarily have to add them if you don't want to, but just send them a message to let them know that you're alive. If they don't have Facebook, you can always try to contact them through their UNB email. Some people might not check it necessarily, but it's worth a shot if they don't have Facebook. And one of the main reasons that you want to get in contact with your roommate is because you want to make sure that, number one, you don't duplicate items. Some rooms, our rooms are decent size, and they're a lot bigger than most of the other residences' double rooms, but even in some of our rooms, there's not enough room for 2 fridges or 2 microwaves, and we're also seriously poor students. So, you don't want to spend more money than you have to. So definitely talk it over with your roommate to make sure that one of you is bringing a microwave, or one of you is bringing your fridge or whatever. And you also want to try to get an idea of what your roommate's like. I personally, I didn't want to go in blind when I was assigned my roommate. So I messaged her, and we got talking. So that helped a lot when we met in person because it wasn't so awkward. Again, I guess this whole adding a person on Facebook might not apply to you if you are living with someone that you already know and you pick to live with them. But the next thing I'm going to talk about definitely applies to everyone, and it's basically about ground rules and tips for what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Probably one of the first things you want to talk to your roommate about is what time they go to sleep. You're going to come to love sleeping. You're gonna nap all the time, and you're gonna envy those 5-year-old kids who are like, oh, I don't want to take a nap, because you want to sleep all the time. And people don't like having their sleep disturbed. So you definitely want to talk to your roommate about what time they go to bed and what time they wake up in the morning. And you want to be courteous to them, and you want them to be courteous to you. So just keep in mind that, they might not necessarily be a night owl like you are, and you can still be a night owl, but you just have to be respectful and try not to be so loud. If you're gonna listen to music, keep your headphones in, try not to bang around drawers and stuff like that. You just want to be respectful of what that person wants. Another thing that you really need to talk to your roommate about is having guests. In Fiona's video, she talked about how you can have overnight guests, and you can, but you definitely need the permission of your roommate. And you have to get that if someone's going to be sleeping over. And you are allowed to have people of the opposite sex sleeping over. And that might make your roommate a little bit uncomfortable, especially if you intend to be messing around. I seriously don't do it if your roommate's in the room. You might think they're sleeping, but they're not. And they're going to hear you, and then everyone's going to know what you were doing. So, if you're going to mess around with someone overnight, or even at all, just, talk to your roommate. No, or just do it at a time when they're not going to be in the room. You also want to keep in mind that your roommate might not be a slob like you are. I'm not saying you're necessarily a slob, but some people are. So just talk to your roommate about how important cleanliness might be to them, because to some people, it makes them uncomfortable to live in a space that has clutter. So you probably just want to talk to them about their feelings about clutter, if it's okay if you have a mountain of clothes in your room, like a certain person I know, and things like that. you might not necessarily want to talk to this about your roommate or talk to your roommate about this, but changing is a big issue, I think, for girls. When I say changing, I mean changing like your clothes. So if you feel comfortable enough with your roommate, I mean, just let them know that you want to change your clothes, you want to strip down or whatever. It's usually not a problem, but if you really do feel uncomfortable, you can always just take off to the bathroom, not very far away, and change there. Keeping in mind that this room is shared by 2 people, you want to try to give your roommate some space. And what I mean by that is, it's their room too, so, don't try to be in the room all the time. It's just, some people like me, I love my privacy, and for someone to be in the room all the time, that would just drive me crazy. I'd like to be by myself and read sometimes. So just try to keep that in mind, that some people might like the privacy more than others, and just try to, I guess, not be a hermit, and just things like that. So I know some of you are probably really worried, especially if you're being paired with a random person, or even if you're worried if you're being paired with a friend, but what you should do if you and your roommate are just not getting along at all. I think you have to live 2 weeks together to try it out, and then you can switch roommates. But I would highly recommend going to Linda first before going to New Res, because Linda will definitely try to help you out with that situation, and then she will take it to New Res herself. Another problem that people might be worried about is stealing. This is not a problem that I've heard of at all at LBR. I haven't heard of any roommates stealing anyone else's stuff. If you really are worried about someone stealing your stuff, not necessarily your roommate, but people in general, I would recommend buying some sort of safe or locking your doors. But most of the people in LBR have an open door policy. I mean, I myself, I never lock my door. I've never locked my door in the 2 years I've been here. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If your roommate wants to lock the door, make sure you bring your keys wherever you go. You don't want to be getting locked out all the time. So that is just a few tips and ideas of what you could do to make your life easier when living with a roommate. If you have any questions at all, just feel free to comment on the video, or you can send me an email. I also need all your shirt sizes ASAP for the orientation shirts. So if you could send that to me too, that would be great, and I can't wait to meet you in September. Bye!